Hello and welcome to Forward Thinking, a podcast from Learning Forward Texas. I'm Debbie Tanton, Director of Business Operations for Learning Forward Texas, and I'm excited to be your host. Before we get started, I also want to introduce my colleagues, Lisa Ham, Director of Marketing for Learning Forward Texas, and our webmaster, Andrew Summers. Andrew and Lisa are the producers of this podcast who help bring these conversations to life. LFTX Forward Thinking is designed for educators who lead and support professional learning in their schools and districts. Our goal is to share ideas, perspectives, and practical insights from educators across the field who are working to strengthen teaching and learning through high-quality professional learning. In each episode, we will spend time in conversation with leaders and practitioners who are doing this work every day. We hope these conversations spark ideas you can bring back to your own systems and teams. Good afternoon and welcome to the LFTX Learning Forward podcast. We are excited that you are here to join us again today. Today's episode is the third and last installment of our three-part series focused on new teacher induction and support. Throughout the series, we've explored the systems, the structures, and the people that help beginning teachers thrive. We've talked about designing intentional induction programs and the critical role that mentors play. For our final conversation around this topic, we're shifting perspectives and we're hearing directly from those at the center of it, those in the trenches, those new teachers themselves. Today, we're joined by two first-year teachers from Mesquite ISD, Tiara and Edwin. They've both just completed their first year in the classroom. They've experienced a successful first year and are here to share the supports, the relationships, and the experiences that have made the greatest difference in their growth and their confidence throughout that first year. So as we wrap up this series, we hope that you'll hear some practical insights from those who have recently walked the journey. Like myself, many of us listening to this podcast and many of our Learning Forward Texas members, it's been a minute since we've been in the classroom. And so as we plan for supporting those in the classroom, we know that we need to hear from them about what works and what worked well. And so who better than to ask two teachers who have been successful through their first year about what went well. It's what we want for all of our beginning teachers. So Tiara and Edwin, thank you so much for being here today. We're excited to hear about your first year in the classroom and the experiences that helped shape your journey. So let's jump right in. Tiara and Edwin, can you tell us a little bit about yourselves? And let's start with Tiara for this one. Tell us a little bit about yourselves and what led you into education.
Thank you for having me, Debbie. I'm excited to join you all to talk about my first year. A little bit about myself. I'm all about wellness and motivation. I work out, I go to church, I write in my journal. I'm type A. I love doing everything that is planned. So going into education, it's the best route for me as a type A person. Like everything is according to plan. And yeah, I enjoy seeing all the growth with the kids in education and things like that. So
Right. Yeah, it's there's plenty of tasks and things to manage as a teacher, aren't there? So it's a type A person's dream for sure. Great. Thank you, Tara, for that terrific introduction and welcome to our podcast. Edwin, how about you?
Thank you for having me, Debbie. Yeah, let me see. Just it's a lot. It took so many different steps for me to be here, especially because I actually started as a music educator. Like I was trying for music, and then I somehow ended up here for math or just like gen ed, and I ended up loving it. Same thing. I'm trying my best to go to the gym as much as possible. I try to keep everything as organized as possible, but sometimes it doesn't happen. So especially with so many changes and so many unpredictable things that happen in the classroom. Uh, but I love where I'm at and glad that I'm staying.
So happy to hear that. To hear a beginning teacher be already love it is really refreshing. And so everyone here on this Zoom is excited, and everyone listening is excited to hear that. So thank you both for being here. Thank you for giving us some time in your much deserved and running short summer. So I know your break is running short. You don't have much time left, and we appreciate you giving us this time. So thank you again for being here. All right. So Edwin, you've talked a little bit about surprises. You made a little pivot in your plan for becoming a teacher. So let's talk about your first year. What surprised you the most about your first year in the classroom? If you were to say, what do you think was most surprising about it?
I was very surprised on how natural it felt for me because I was very scared because I last year I was a sped inclusion para. So I would go into the classrooms and, support all the students that I had with their needs, but I wasn't the official teacher. So like, yes, I would like try to keep it to where it's like, hey, I need you to work with me, but I was more of a support. I wasn't really like the main leader of the room.
Sure.
So it was a weird transition for me to go from a support group to a almost like a manager almost. That's what it feels like. It's like this is my classroom. I'm in charge of it. These are, my students, and now I get to, help, bring up. And so, you know, the biggest surprise was just that I was scared that it was gonna be really hard for me, but I had really good support and it really felt pretty easy.
What a great transition from paraprofessional to teacher. What a great and were you part of the Elevate program with IWU and Teachworthy?
Yes.
Okay, so you started out as a paraprofessional in Mesquite, and then you um, are now serving in a teacher role. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the
great.
PACE program, great program.
Yes, wonderful,
Mhm.
wonderful. And many of our districts, many of the folks that are listening are participating in that as well. And so it's so great to hear from someone who is already a part of the school community, who is now able to serve our teachers in our students in the classroom as the teacher. So I can see that that transition um, was different in terms of level of responsibility. Sounds like you were expecting that. But I'm so happy to hear that all your experiences as a paraprofessional really lent themselves to you feeling comfortable as a teacher as well. So that's great. Okay. So Tiara, did you have any surprises?
Yes, I did. To piggyback off Edwin, I started out as a student teacher last year in a special education classroom. I went from behavioral to life skills, and then I moved up to being a life skills teacher, having my own classroom, working on my certification. What surprised me the most was that the teachers that I worked with, they made me feel comfortable to make mistakes and let me know that I'm not gonna know everything in my first year. I'm gonna learn as I continue to be in education, continue to be a teacher. So it's surprising to see that I wasn't alone in my
Yeah.
mistakes, that this wasn't the first rodeo with the teacher. So yeah, it was interesting to see.
I can see that that would be super comforting.
Yeah.
To know that nobody has it mastered. Nobody, even the most veteran of veterans, have it
Yeah.
mastered. That's the beauty of teaching, in that it's so ever changing, and you never see the same situation twice. And so that's great. I'm glad that they create a good culture and a climate where you felt you could make mistakes and could learn from them. So that's terrific. What do you think they did, or could you tell at all what they might have done to make you feel that way, that you could take risks and that you could make mistakes?
Well, one, it would have to do with the inclusiveness that I have at the job that I work at. A lot of the teachers, including my principal, we all had a bunch in common. We went to the same college. Some went to the same college as me. Some does the same things that I do outside of education. Some are still getting their PhD and getting their masters, and they let me know and supported me with great advice and telling me that it's okay to make mistakes. And they told me a little bit about their stories. They've made mistakes, what they did to grow through it. So
So helpful for
mhm.
all of us to have that connection. So wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with us. Edwin, what about you? What was there something that, in terms of your support system, that made the biggest difference in helping you be successful and helping you grow through that first year?
Honestly, like the effort that, my coach and I call them like my hallway buddies just because it's like we have a hallway where it's like it feels like they're they're my family. And we all supported each other. Like little things being like, "Hey, I don't understand this." That will help me out. And I have veteran teachers who they don't understand certain new technologies, so I'll help them out. So it's kind of like we're all constantly like helping each other. And I was just glad that I felt like I had something to offer,
Mhm.
even though is my first year. And so, my teacher next to me, Asia Pines, she's great.
Mhm.
She's technically only her second year, yet it feels like she's been there for like 10 years because she's honestly the reason that I did really well this year because she was there to support me that whole school year, doing PLCs after school. It helps a lot that I'm a Mesquite alumni, so I went to Mesquite schools, and
Uh-huh.
I felt more comfortable to just ask
Yeah.
because it's really hard to ask sometimes, especially me. I'm very hard headed. I'm like, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. No, I have to I have to ask questions, and they're more than glad to ask questions or let me ask questions, and they would come check up on me. That was like the biggest thing where they would literally come into my classrooms like, "Hey, you doing all right? Do you need any help?" And I was like, "Today, I'm good. Other days, please, I need all the help today."
Definitely. We hear over and over again, and we talked about in the last episode too with our on our topic around mentor development. These folks, whether they were your official mentor or not, served as mentors for you, and most new teachers I'm sure you would agree, and you've sort of spoken to this, that need more than one, right? Need a team of folks that are there to support them. And it is not by any means necessary that they have 10 plus years of experience. Sometimes the second year teacher can make the best mentor, right? As they are fresh out of the situation you're in, they're still, how they learned what they learned is still fresh on their minds. And so I've found those folks to be some of the best mentors. And Edwin, the fact that they were your teachers and your administrators growing up made them even more invested in you, I'm sure, and even more. And they're great people and support all of their new teachers. But I bet it really is heartwarming to them. And you'll see as you're around 20, 30 years, you'll see um, when that circle of life comes around and you start seeing folks that you taught as adults doing well, that is something that no other profession can give, right? That's a feeling and an impact that no other profession can give. So that's amazing. I love that you're back with folks that taught you as a child. That's terrific. So when you think back on the professional learning you received, whether that be at the district, whether that be at the campus, whether that be through your preparation programs, what types of learning experiences or coaching or feedback do you think actually helped you improve in your practice, help you improve as a teacher the most? What types of things worked best? And it may be very different for the two of you as you're different people. So let's start with Tiara. Would you like to start with that question?
Sure. Um, I would say I gotten a lot of experience working with students of all ages and different types of background. And going into special education, I felt it was very important to me to gain the experience before going into the classroom myself, whether that was with being a student teacher, internships prior to being a student teacher. I'm getting my master's right now in special education, so reading the textbooks that I'm provided for my classes that I take on teaching students with different types of learning disabilities. It's helped me with my experience in my own classroom.
Wonderful. That's important, right? If we're gonna, the master's program is actually helping you improve your practice.
Mhm.
That's fantastic. Great to hear that. What about you, Edwin? Was there something in your coaching or in your professional development or your background experiences that has really led you to helping you improve your practice as you went through that first year?
Yeah, like I said before, I started out in music,
Mhm.
and before I became a full-time as I was a para, I was doing private lessons. So I've been teaching technically for a while. It's just different types. Like it was very one-on-one instructional. And then at the school I was doing same thing, but one was for, hey, I'm teaching you how to play guitar, piano, or bass. And over here, It's like, I'm teaching you how to read, or I'm teaching you how to solve something because you don't understand it, and that's okay. One of the biggest supports and all that, I feel like, was my coach. I learn off of trial and error sometimes, and sometimes, like, you telling me something isn't really gonna help me until I try it and then give me feedback. And I love that the district provides first year teachers with, like, I had a lady named Ms. Warren who would come and support us, and she would ask, "How can I help?" I never really knew what to ask, so all I would ask was like, "I'm gonna teach the lesson today. Just give me feedback and let me know what you think I could work on, or what do you think I messed up on?" Just like little things that as I go, I learn and improve, and that helped a lot. Same thing with my coach. She would come, watch, feedback. She would record it actually, and that helped me see little things that I didn't realize I did. It's like I fidget a lot. It helps having someone there to watch you, because you don't, in the moment, you don't know you do little things here and there.
Yeah. Wow. That's great. Tiara, do you have anything to add to that?
Like he said, like having people there that you work with, it does make a huge difference with your experience. Like my principal in the special education lead that I have at my school, those two, the principal and the special education lead, have been my biggest support system going into teaching. So I would ask my principal all the time, come and do my observation on this day at this time to actually see like what I'm doing, what needs to be corrected. And yeah, so and he would do it. He would
Yeah.
do
So you were
it.
able to seek out your own feedback, weren't
Yeah.
you? By just saying, and I think that really speaks to advocating for yourself and how that you can make sure that you get what you need.
Yeah.
You both mentioned several things that leaders on your campus have done that were helpful. Like you said, popping in and just asking, "What do you need? How are you doing?"
Mhm.
Checking in. You both have spoken to that, and so I know that what's happening on the campus in terms of the leaders, in terms of the instructional coaches and the principals and the assistant principals, sometimes it's just the asking and just the checking in and being present and seeing your face. I know that teachers have told me for years and years that that makes just a huge difference.
Mhm. My sped lead, is Police Stevenson. She actually kind of like guided me to asking for help too.
Mhm.
Because I was a struggler when it came to asking for help. She told me that it's okay to ask for help. So she would check in, she would ask if I need anything, she would tell me what to look out for, and she provided books as well. And she also has her own devotional. She made a devotional for teachers in a classroom. And each day it talks about how to improve in the classroom as a teacher. How do you navigate your emotions in the classroom? How to ask for help, and that's genuinely what helped me as well.
Well, that's amazing. Learning Forward Texas will be reaching out to her for a copy
Mhm.
of that because I think we that's something that could help our members for
Mhm.
sure. That's amazing.
Mhm.
I love that. And so again, it's and you're both speaking to some of those small actions are what make all of the difference. And so that's terrific. I think this is a good time to start. I want to continue this conversation, but I want us to take a little pause, gather our thoughts before we start talking about another topic, and give us time to hear a little bit from Learning Forward Texas. Before we get back to the conversation, what if you want to host a Learning Forward Texas workshop but don't have the budget or enough participants? Open enrollment is your answer. You pick the date, host the session, and participants register individually, making it a more flexible and affordable option. It's a great way to bring high-quality professional learning to your district without the full commitment. Learn more on our website, and let's get back to the episode. Okay, welcome back. We are here with Tiara and Edwin from Mesquite ISD, who are sharing some of the terrific support they've received both at the district and on their campuses as they navigated their first years of teaching. And so we are thrilled to have them here with us again. And let's jump back into our conversation. Was there a moment during your first year where you felt especially supported? Is there something specific that happened or a specific time in your teaching that you felt especially supported or encouraged as a beginning teacher?
Um, I would say I had inexperience with the parents. The parents can kind of be a little difficult to work with, especially in special education. It's very hard, and everything has to be done correctly. My assistant principal, Ms. Homan, and the SPED lead, Ms. Police Stevenson, helped me navigate working with parents and, speak with confidence and speak like you really know what you're talking about.
Love that. How about you, Edwin?
I honestly had a lot of support this year. Again, just the district providing us with a mentor. We got our coach, TSS, and then just everybody around me and my instructional coaches. I really appreciate Mayor Grandstaff because her as my mentor, she would come and give me all the tips that I could get. Just I tried my best, and she really helped me just improve like little processes like, oh, like how are they gonna come in? How are they going to leave? It's like little things where it's like repetition is key and then just stability. In my head, I'm like, yeah, but they're 13-year-olds. They should. They didn't. they they really didn't. And that's fine. It's just they need that support. They need those systems. And she really, really helped me see how to use those systems in my favor. Uh Lori Johnson, you would always, at least for us, we'd be on teacher TikTok, and it's like, oh, like admin can be scary. They don't help you. No, there were times where like I have a student who is, you know, is being very disruptive. I'm gonna call for her, but I'm scared that she's not actually going to come. I would call her, literally not even a minute later. She's like, "You here? Let's go." Like she was on it. I didn't have to worry about if I needed help. I just had to text or call somebody.
In listening to both of you, I'm hearing a lot of connections. I'm hearing a lot of commonalities that are possible in large districts, small districts. You both come from a relatively large district. Lots of our listeners are from even larger districts or much, much smaller districts. But I think what the common thread I'm hearing between you two, and really feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but opportunities to collaborate are what have made you successful, whether that be with a TSS, which is a unique program for Mesquite, who has retired teachers who serve as instructional coaches in beginning teachers' classrooms, to help them navigate that. But whether you have instructional coaches, whether you have a large administrative team that's there to support, you've all got somebody. Everybody who makes it through their first year and is successful with their students during that first year and continues on in our profession, it's because they have people to collaborate with. They have people to bounce ideas off of, people to give them feedback, people who will come and watch a lesson like Tiara spoke to. And when you're excited about a lesson, you want them to come and see this one. Somebody that will come and watch and give you some feedback and encourage you. I don't think that there's a teacher out there without that has been successful. And so whatever that looks like to our listeners, whatever that's possible to do and to put together within your district means, that's what's needed. I don't think there's a particular program of professional learning, that they're using, or always a particular book or a specific model that is more successful than the others. I think it's as long as they're provided that support and that intentional feedback and that intentional collaboration set up within the structure somehow. What you're speaking to really affirms that for us. And so I'm really glad to hear that. None of what you've mentioned costs a lot of money. None of what you've mentioned requires most of what you've mentioned doesn't require additional funding. But it's possible if you've got somebody, and neither of you have just talked about one person that helped you. We all, and it's required by the state of Texas, obviously, that everybody have a mentor, an official mentor, but you really need a mentor for a variety of different things. You need different types of mentor for different skills and for different needs. And so I'm so happy to hear that you have both had that. And you've both spoken to your leaders as well spoken about your leaders on your campus who really reinforce that and who have made you feel welcome and have come to you to see what you've needed. I'd really love to close out our time together today with each of you giving a piece of advice to those who are organizing those systems for new teachers. So we have a variety of people that listen to our podcast and that follow us, that are members of our organization. We have school leaders, we have district leaders, we have professional learning people, we have school administrators, we have instructional coaches. So for those who are responsible for new teacher development in their districts and on their campuses, and all of our listeners are, what's one piece of advice you would give them if they were to prioritize something? What would you encourage them, speaking from your perspective coming out of this and what you know has made you successful? What one piece of advice would you give to them as they plan for greeting their new teachers this fall?
It's one of those things where consistency is key. It's one of those where I did the mistake of not being consistent, and it really, really made me fall back with just the way that the students perceive me.
Mhm.
So if there was times where it's like, hey, we need to stop this, and we have certain the redirections, I was really good about it in the beginning. Then I would slightly let it slide if it was something small, but if when I did that, I stopped being consistent, and then they would do it more. Basically, they saw, oh, he's not gonna say anything anymore. Let's just
Mhm.
keep doing it.
Mm.
And so I need to, like, as a first year teacher, you really need to be consistent, not just with that, but also routine, because root the only thing that I would say I did really well was my routine of how they came in and how they left. Because as they walked in, they greeted me, either a high five or a fist bump. They walked inside that door. If there's a paper, they will grab it, and then got their binders and sat down. And they had to write their objective of the day, and then anything that's like a bell ringer. And then when they left, they weren't allowed to leave until I said their name or their table. And because then it becomes chaotic. It's like unorganized. It's really good to keep that consistency and that routine. And it was really weird when I would have to, cover another class because I was trying to keep the same routine, and not every teacher has that same routine. So, the bell will ring and they just jump up, try to run. I was like, no, we need some structure. Again, best advice, just
Yeah.
be consistent and don't be afraid to ask for help.
And for all of our mentors and coaches out there, you're telling them this is what they really need to talk through with their beginning teachers, correct? The routines and the structures and all of that. That's a good thing for us to keep in mind as we have conversations with beginning teachers that we're coaching and that we're mentoring, that needs to be brought back into the conversation all the time as we're guiding and coaching. So thank you. Thank you for that takeaway. That's a great takeaway. How about you, Tiara?
To piggyback off what Edwin was saying, consistency and having a strict routine is very important. Also, the experience. Don't just come in wanting to be a teacher without having the experience, I believe. Whether that's with just babysitting, working with kids at a church, or an internship, it's very important that you have the experience, because going into a classroom and being responsible for 15 to 25 plus kids, like that's a big thing. So yeah, I would say being consistent, having a strict routine, the experience, and being open to feedback as well. You really have to, if especially if you're not a person that doesn't believe that, like, there's no room for correction, everything has to be perfect. Be open to the feedback. It does make a difference, a huge difference. So
Yeah, that really takes me back to the conversation at the beginning when you talked about how you were surprised that the veteran teachers didn't already have it all mapped, didn't know everything
yeah.
about everything already. And so I think all of us asking for and receiving feedback is something we can all remember, whether we're leaders, whether we're campus teachers, whether we're students even. And so Thank you for these insights. This conversation has been so very helpful. You're both just delightful, and I hope that you will have very long, successful careers in the classroom, just impacting kids and shaping lives. You're needed. You're so needed. I'm just so thankful that Mesquite has developed you and brought you up to be teachers and are encouraging and supporting you along the way, and continuing to provide the support that you need. I know that you will turn around and make excellent mentors, maybe very soon, to other teachers on your team, whether that be assistant mentors or whether that just be a part of the crew in the hallway that are available to people to answer questions. Teaching is so complex that it never can be fully mastered. And so I love that you both seem to be the type of teachers and the type of leaders that seek that growth all of the time. And so, gosh, if there's any way Learning Forward Texas can ever support you, we would love to do that. Please reach out and join our organization. We want to be there to support you along your long career. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners before we close?
The reason I chose education is because I hate knowing to the point where it becomes boring. Once I've been in a job for 3 years and it's like I already know everything, I don't like it's the same thing. Not with education, it's every year, new sets of kids, new sets of learning their person. Because you're not just teaching them, you're learning who they are. And that's one of the bigger things that y'all need to realize is that you see these kids the most. And you're gonna develop those relationships to, they trust you and you want to build a safe space for them because this might be the only times they get to feel okay. And it's like, well, it's one of the other things that as an educator, I feel like you need to also think about is that, you know, yes, a kid might be upset or they might be lashing out. There's probably a reason. And it's good to at least ask if they're okay and then just build that relationship so they're comfortable so that once there's those disruptions and you understand what's going on, the learning can happen and it's much smoother.
Great wise words from some folks that are there doing the work with kids every day. Again, we appreciate you being here with us so much. Those are some lucky kids that get to have the two of you leading them every day and in the years to come. So very thankful, not just for the work that you do in the classroom, but just even more simply for being here with us today on our podcast and sharing with learning leaders around Texas what works with new teacher support and what they need from their leaders. So we appreciate you. Hope you have the best rest of your summer and get some rest in and some fun before it's time to get in there back in your classrooms doing that important work with students. Thank you again for being here with us today.